The laid-back Sydney beachside suburb of Cronulla exploded. 3 days of riots and revenge attacks appeared to take police and politicians by surprise. But many of the locals believe the trouble had been brewing for years. Despite official denials that racial tension was behind the riots, they believe it was a clash of cultures. And at its heart was animosity towards one ethnic group, which, though born here, does not feel fully accepted in Australia and does not share this country's permissive attitudes. What did cause the Cronulla riots, and what's being done to ensure they're not repeated? Our cover story is reported by Christopher Zinn.
Cronulla, tucked away in Sydney's south, was the epitome of the friendly and relaxed Australian way of life.
You're not welcome. This is our land. Get the hell out.
Then the unthinkable boiled over, and suddenly that cosy beach culture didn't seem quite the same anymore.
It's been bubbling away for a long, long time. We're talking 20 years that I can think of, probably a little bit more. The harassment, the stealing, the theft was just all part and parcel of every summer. And I guess at the end of the day, people can only take so much.
This is what our grandfathers fought for, to protect this so we can enjoy it. And we don't need these Lebanese to take it away from us.
I think the Cronulla riots demonstrated that it's not a race or religious issue. We've allowed crime to flourish.
Well, the only time that we actually heard about there being a problem in Cronulla was when the riots broke out. We weren't engaged. I think the Lebanese Arab community hadn't been consulted, or we hadn't actually been told that there is a problem.
Both antisocial behaviour and its perpetrators were labelled by that most loaded of terms, un-Australian.
I'm an Australian, yet when a person asks me if I'm Australian, they've got to ask me twice or 3 times. Because they look at me and say, no, you're not Australian, but then I tell them what's an Australian supposed to look like.
Today, on Sunday, an inside look at just what happened at Cronulla and its bloody fallout. And for the first time, dramatic police radio recordings as the revenge attacks unfolded.
Two ladies with Middle Eastern males, south on the Kingsway, should be near Northies now, just trying to run us over.
We join the search for solutions after unprecedented disturbances, which could so easily have been much worse.
I didn't realise that I had been knifed until I stood up and actually felt the blood running down my back.
And those at the grassroots give their take on events and what should happen now.
More police with more force towards these kids, what you're only going to see is more kids rebelling, and you're going to see more trouble.
It's only a 30-minute drive from the Australian-Lebanese heartland of Lakemba to the rather more Anglo Shire of Sutherland and Cronulla. The beach is made for sharing, but a turf war was brewing. Over the years, there were several low-key protests against the troublemakers of Middle Eastern appearance.
What we've seen here isn't so much outbreaks of racism over the last 8 years. What's upset people is criminal behaviour, having their mobile phones taken, women being insulted.
They have no respect for the law. That's a big part of this, because they know that they're juveniles and they know how the law works, and it's in their favour.
For almost 20 years, Mark worked as a professional lifeguard at Cronulla. He says minor aggro with different migrant groups was nothing new. But after an escalation of friction with Arab males, the council introduced self-defence training.
I found that quite bizarre in itself. I mean, why were lifeguards being given self-defence lessons? I just, to this day, I still don't understand that. Isn't that a policeman's job?
But not everyone reports a cultural or even criminal clash. Many aspects of the Cronulla story hinge on perceptions, which for all sides have become as good as reality.
I mean, you used to go down to Cronulla a lot.
Yeah.
What was it like? Was there trouble there over the years?
No, not when I used to go. I used to be sitting down, see the few Aussie boys playing football, get two of my boys jump in, play, even up the teams, play some football with them. Never ever used to go rough, never used to have fights with them or nothing. It was all right, you know, peaceful.
Get back!
There was a growing perception the cops had gone soft, and political correctness had somehow stopped the politicians ordering action. It was a field day for the shock jocks and the pundits in the run-up to the riots, even for the columnists in the more staid broadsheet press.
It's not a secret. It's been well known. I mean, it wasn't just... It's been a problem at Brighton. It's been a problem at Bondi. It's been a problem at Cronulla. There have been thousands of sexually provocative incidents and menacing incidents, thousands of them. There is nothing remotely surprising or unexpected about what happened on December 11, 12 and 13.
The spark came on December the 4th last year, with an assault on 2 volunteer lifesavers which outraged the locals. 3 days later, there was another attack.
Lifesavers down on the beach are down there for a purpose. They're down there doing their jobs, and, you know, to be stopped and told to get off the beach and then hit by certain groups of people, I mean, it's just... That's not right. That's not what, you know, that's not what the Australian way.
Police described the attackers in both cases as being of Middle Eastern appearance. Soon text messages began, urging locals and even those from way out of the Shire to exact revenge. In phase 1 of the riots, the demo to reclaim the beaches on Sunday, December the 11th, started out peacefully enough. 5,000 took to the streets, but through booze or design or sheer bloody-mindedness, it all turned very ugly.
Unfortunately, you know, the boys have had a few beers afterwards. You get a skinful, and you know, the grog takes over, and unfortunately, you know, it raises its ugly head.
Commandeering the flag as some kind of justification, elements in the crowd went after anyone they considered looked Lebanese or Arabic, picking other nationalities off en route. Police struggled to prevent a bloodbath, let alone regain control. And then there were the insults.
The thing that really hurt us most is the slogans they had written on their shirts, attacking my religion, attacking my prophet, attacking our God and our prophet. And that was just in your face.
Australia.
Cronulla made news around the world in what was billed as another guilty little sign of Australia's latent racism.
Al Jazeera ran with it. They loved it. Muslims as victims again, Australians. That got big play around the world. And you've even got academics writing about the mob of thousands of Australians attacking anyone who was swarthy. And that's just not true. It's a lie, and they know it's a lie.
The mayhem that struck Cronulla that hot, drunken Sunday was really just the start. Within hours came a violent and indiscriminate retribution that went far beyond these beaches. The perpetrators were described as men of Middle Eastern appearance, and it all left many to ask the question, how on earth had it got to this?
They're feeling quite angry, quite upset. They think that they haven't been given an opportunity. They think they haven't been given a fair go. And when you have a teenager who's feeling like that, and plus feeling loss of identity, then you have a very dangerous mix.
In an old Masonic hall not far from Lakemba is the Lidcombe Youth Centre, which acts pretty much like an old-style police citizens club. It's volunteer-operated and locally funded, and run by youth leader Fadi Rahman.
And when you have people speaking, and we hear it